This is our presentation on perception and perception checking in healthcare, and also how to avoid miscommunications. This is done by Angela, Linnell, Angel, and Cassie. What is perception? Perception is a process of mentally organizing and interpreting sensory information to arrive at a meaningful conclusion. So when we receive information through our senses, like what we see or hear, our brain processes it and creates a meaning for it. Perception is different for everyone, and our past experiences, culture, education, personal beliefs influence how we interpret situations. Because people have different perspectives, the same situation may be understood in different ways. This is why it's easy to misunderstand a situation. Perception can lead to misunderstandings or conflict because people can have different understandings of the same situation. These interpretations are based on personal experiences and their personal perspectives, and they may not always reflect the actual intention behind a message or an action. This can lead to people making the wrong assumptions about others, like their behavior or their true intentions, and this can result in misunderstandings. For example, if a nurse asks a colleague, "Did you finish the task yet?" It may be meant as a simple question, but the colleague might take it as criticism. This can make them feel defensive or frustrated, and it can lead to conflict. This shows how perception is not always accurate and can negatively affect communication between individuals.
This slide has an example that was provided by one of our group members to explain a real-life situation for misperception in communication and how quickly a person can make assumptions about a situation. In the example, the group member was working as a companion in a residence and asked one of the nurses on staff for help with the resident she was with. The nurse did not respond right away. At that time, she assumed that she just did not want to help, which caused her to feel frustrated because her resident was uncomfortable and she did not want to leave them that way. After getting more information, she realized that the nurses were busy putting other residents to bed, and the nurse she had asked was already assisting someone else. This shows how conflict can happen when a person does not have all the information. When we do not get a response, we create assumptions that are not always true. She learned the importance of communication and checking for accuracy instead of making assumptions, especially in a healthcare setting where things are busy and there is a lot happening all at once. There are 3 steps during the perception checking process to take when the message is unclear. First, we describe what we think is happening, and this is ideally done in a neutral tone, ensuring that an emotion is not conveyed. Secondly, we come up with 2 possible things that could be true and present them to the message sender. Third of all, we ask for clarification of the situation to ensure that we are receiving the message the way it was intended to be sent. For example, in the video presented by the baritones, Person A talks about how much he dislikes pickles, and Person B leaves abruptly, and Person A is left wondering if they are upset with them or if they just had to be somewhere else. When Person B returns, Person A uses the perception checking process to figure out what the intended message actually was. So when Person B returns, Person A asks, in a neutral language, "Hey, are you upset because I don't like pickles? Or did you just have to be somewhere else? What's going on?" And this helps the situation dissolve any anger. And this slide goes over how using the perception checking process helps to reduce misperception and conflict that can occur in situations. Using the perception checking process helps us to pause and think about how the message was intended to be received prior to reacting to it. It allows us to use our critical thinking skills to question initial assumptions. And when we reflect on our part of the message sending process, it allows us to grow and gain new skills for future interactions. For example, if I had a friend who I was chatting with and they suddenly became quiet, I might assume that I had said something to upset them. But the perception checking process would allow me to pause and question this, thinking how my tendency to overthink things might be clouding the reality of the situation. Instead of getting defensive, I could simply ask, "Hey, is everything okay? You got really quiet all of a sudden." This clarification helps to avoid conflict caused by misunderstanding the situation at hand.
Okay, just think. So now, for this patient, I need blood work for CBC, and I also need electrolytes. Start them with antibiotics, okay? So book an ultrasound. I need you to schedule this in a week now. So it has to be fast.
Okay, I have a question. Okay. Wait, which antibiotic and when does the ultrasound need to be done? They were talking too fast. I didn't get a chance to ask. They seem busy, but I'll just leave it.
Now, what is the ultrasound book for next week? This needs to be done within 24 hours, like I said.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
Okay, this medication isn't what I wanted prescribed as well.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said you wanted.
These details are very important. This delay patient care.
Well, sorry. I didn't get a chance to ask before you left.
Okay.
Casey, can we talk?
Sure.
I noticed earlier you were speaking really quickly and left before I could even respond. I wasn't sure if you were frustrated with me or just in a hurry with another patient. Could we clarify what's going on?
No, I wasn't frustrated with you at all. I was just rushing between patients.
Okay, I figured. I just wanted to make sure.
That's my fault. I should have slowed down and made sure everything was clear.
And I should have asked to clarify before you left.
Yeah, we both need to make sure we're both clear so next time nothing gets missed. Hey, Linnell, do you have a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, so for this time, we need a blood work for CBC.
Okay.
Do you have a pen? Can you write that down?
Yep.
Okay. Electrolytes,
Okay.
an ultrasound, antibiotics, and a follow-up in a week, okay?
Okay. Casey, can I clarify something before you go?
Sure.
Which antibiotic would you like?
So I would like penicillin, 500 mg,
Okay.
2 times daily.
And when would you want the ultrasound?
Within 24 hours, okay?